Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Smiley. It's so good to see you today. I hope you're having a fun day and you're on the green zone and lots of good things are happening for you today. And I hope it's sunshiny and pretty at your house. Real quickly, I'm going to go through a couple of vocabulary words and then I'm going to read you a story. And this is kind of written like a poem. So there might be some rhyme in it that you notice, but it kind of is something you listen to and enjoy, and you might hear a little rhyme, but I can ask you a few questions about it when we're done. Real quick, before we do that, we had a few vocabulary words that we looked at last time together. We had every, meet, future, sorry if I'm going a little fast, know, like I know the answer, tomorrow, and world. And I wanted to talk about this word for just a second. It's probably our shortest vocabulary word. It's the word meet. And we had just been learning last week about asking questions. And when you meet someone new, like you're going to be meeting a lot of new friends when you go to first grade next year, asking questions is a great way to make a friend and to start that conversation. So I wanted to talk about that just for a second. Think, what's a question you could ask someone who you just met for the very first time, maybe in your first grade classroom? You could say, what is your name? You could say, what do you like to do? What games do you like to play? Okay, so you could ask them like that. Or you could ask them a question, can I sit by you at lunch? Would you like to play with me at recess? Okay, and then you can tell that person things about you too. Or what's your favorite color? So there's lots of times asking questions is a really good way to meet new friends and to start that conversation. So maybe that's a little something that can help you next year at the beginning of the year. You're all so sweet. I'm sure you won't have any trouble making friends. Okay, here's our little story. It is called Much to Learn. So you can put those listening ears on, okay? And I will put my glasses on so I can read to you for a second. Here we go. Much to Learn by Carmen Tofolla. My child, there is much for you to learn. Wondrous things, like how candles burn, how tortillas puff up, how the earth cools down, how the sun sets in the skies, changes colors all around, how the chili turns red when it's still on the bush, how the hawk swoops down to grab a field mouse with a swoosh, how coyotes howl in a voice that sounds like words, how there's always food around for even the smallest birds. My child, there is much for you to learn, and also much for you to teach us in return, like how to make friends with someone who is kind, like how to see the joy in something old that you find, like how to use a stick and a string as if it were a toy, or how to bring a smile to another girl or boy, like how to dream the biggest dreams or keep the tiny hope alive, or when grown-ups say impossible, to say we've never tried. And I like this poem a lot because I think it goes along with being a good friend and meeting new people. And I think children like you guys, your brains just move so fast and your brains are growing and you're thinking so much and you have the best imaginations. You can see little things like they said in here, like a string and something and make a toy out of it. And I think of you guys, I can give you little pieces of things and you can make things out of them or find something to do with them. You're so creative. So this summer I challenge you, make things, create things, build things, try some new things, go in the yard and see what you can find. I know my daughter and I are going to build a little fairy garden, which is like a little miniature garden with little doors and windows and like a little fairy town. So maybe that's something you could even try. But use those imaginations and try to be really creative and do fun things this summer. I hope you enjoyed that little poem. I enjoyed reading it to you, boys and girls. Okay, I'll see you in just a moment. I'm going to read you a Royo story.